So I'm just gonna get straight to the point. The only reason for I'm making this video, I didn't even want to make another video on storm connections because I think at this point I've pretty much exhausted every single piece of material that we can get out of. But ever since the new information came out in their Twitter account, the official Twitter account regarding some of the uh, changes to the online features and additional customization and stuff like that, people have been fixating a lot on this. Now, here it says that apparently they're going to revamp the combat system in order to make it more easy. It'll essentially make it easier to connect combos by pressing the light attack button repeatedly. Now, a lot of people, like a lot more people, more than I honestly was expecting, are really confused by this statement here because people are just thinking, wait a minute, couldn't you already do that in Storm? Like, isn't Storm already a pretty mashy game where you're constantly hitting the same button? What exactly is the deal here? So okay, you see here, this is Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax. Now, if I grab my controller here, let me approach Asuna just a little bit. If I keep clicking square, it does an auto combo. Now the thing is, this right here is essentially no different from clicking light, medium, attack, and then I forgot the term for this, but like yeah, basically when you, well, in my case I actually made it so L2 is the one that clicks, but I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's square X. Let me double check. No, is it square triangle? Yeah, it's square triangle. Square triangle, and then there's the EX. So now the thing is, because I know how to play this game, I don't need to do that. I don't need to mash square in order to pull off this exact combo. I can do it manually. And so, for that to be the case, for CyberConnect 2 to go out of the way to make it very clear that they're making an equivalent to this, that means, and I want you guys to think out of the box, that means that they're revamping the combat system. Because for them to feel incentivized to doing that, that means that they're adding different type. They're either adding different types of attacks or they're just completely revamping the way the combo system works. Because there's no reason for why you would introduce a specific. Because from what I can tell, it seems like this is just straight up a mode. It's a mode that you select. Kind of like how in Guilty Gear, there's the stylish and the technical mode that you can pick between the two. That's pretty much what it is here. So that means that they have to be changing the combat system. Now, what I personally think, and I was trying my best to hold off on this because I didn't want to like spat out a bunch of theories with no basis, but I think that with this, it further confirms the theory that I have, which is that in all likelihood, they're going to introduce a different type of attack. So, you know how here they say by pressing the light attack? For them to say light attack, that would of course imply that there's also a heavy attack or a medium, but I think it's heavy. I think the game. I think the game's going to be limited to light and heavy attack. So what I think is going to go on is square, which used to be for throwable weapons. I think it's just going to be a heavy attack. And if that's the case, it actually explains two things. For one, it explains why they're adding stuns into the character's auto combos, because if that's the case, that actually makes a lot more sense, because while previously you would just mash circle and it was just that, but since now you can switch between light to medium, maybe the stuns are meant to make it easier to switch to the heavy attack, because now you have a better idea of which part of their light attacks have a bigger opportunity to connect to their heavy attacks. You know what I mean? So there's that. The other reason for why I actually believe this could be the case is because if you guys remember, a while back, I theorized, and to be honest, I'm saying theory, but to be honest, I think this is just a straight up fact. And the fact is, the game clearly has a second jutsu. Like if you watch this trailer in specific, there's one part specifically with Baryon mode where you can actually see blue chakra. It's right around here. This is blue chakra. A lot of people are saying that this is like an awakening. This is an awakening skill. Awakening skills do not cost chakra at all. Like you can revisit the previous Storm games. Not awakening skills never cost chakra at any point. And when you actually check the particle animation, it's usually like some like minor like red particle effects, which I've seen some people say that like uh this right here is an indication of the awakening skills, but no. This is not the particle effect that shows up when you do an awakening skills. And additionally, there's the blue aura here. So what do you think is more likely? That they're just introducing a special animation for Baronwood's awakening skill, or the most likely scenario is that this red is just a part of his, Baronwood cloak, and in all actuality, this is a second jutsu. Like I think this is a second jutsu, and if it is a second jutsu, then it also makes sense for why they no longer have charged throws, which when you can throw like a throwable weapon charged by chakra, that's going to be removed because throwable weapons in general are probably going to get removed. Or if they're not going to get removed, they might just migrate to something else, like maybe one of the D-pads. While square, well, feet, like hypothetically, square could either be heavy or light. It really doesn't matter because you can easily just customize the control schemes. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. And I'm surprised people haven't really made this observation. And honestly, that's at least what I believe. Of course, it's just my theory. I don't know any of this. And unfortunately, I wish I knew more about the combat system as I would want, because much like you guys, I am very curious about what's going to change and what's not going to change. And clearly what we've seen so far doesn't really give a ton of indication that there's a lot of modifications to the combat system. But I think if you look deep enough, there's clearly they're clearly doing something different. That's what I think. So yeah, like honestly, people need to think out of the box sometimes. Like you never know. Like these little videos that you guys think are pointless, they might have more information than you think.